Hi guys, I want to make a video about subtracting mixed numbers, especially with regrouping, okay? So, let's say we have 4 wholes and 1/6 minus, let's say 2 and 4/6. Okay, if I wanted to, I could go, 4 minus 2, yeah, that's 2 wholes. But wait, 1/6. Oh, sorry, that 6 is not that great looking. Let me try again. So 1/6 minus 4/6. And the way I want you to think about this is, let's say you had 1/6. Okay, there's my 1/6. Can I take 4/6 away from that? No, I only have 1. How am I going to take away 4 of these when I only have 1? I can't. So what you're going to have to do is, look at that, you have 4 wholes. Could you take away a whole from that? So let's make a number bond. So here's my 4 wholes. 4 wholes, in this case, we're working with sixths, right? So one of these wholes is 6/6. Okay, that's one whole. 6/6, that's another whole. Another 6/6 is another whole. And another 6/6 is another whole, right? So this 4/6 is basically 6, 12, 18, 24 26. If I wanted 24 sixths. If I wanted to have a crazy fraction greater than 1. Okay, that's how the 4 wholes would look like. So 6/6 equals 1, 6/6 equals 1, 6/6 equals 1, 6/6 equals 1. That's where we got our 4 wholes from. That's 1 whole, 2 wholes, 3 wholes, 4 wholes. Okay, in this case, we don't need to take all these wholes out. Let's just take away 1 whole, okay? So I'm going to take away just one of these wholes from 4. So now I don't have 4 wholes anymore. I have 3 wholes, okay? So I have 3 wholes. And I have 6/6. But I also have still this 1/6. So 6/6 plus 1/6 is 7/6. And my 3 wholes, of course. Okay? So here's my new fraction. This used to be 4 wholes and 1/6. But now I've turned it into 3 wholes and 7/6. Okay, and I did that by taking out 6/6 and making that 3. So basically all you're doing is regrouping. And you've done this with subtraction before. But now we're working with fractions. So your 1 whole is no longer just 1. It can also be rewritten as 6/6. Okay? So, here's our new fraction. 3 and 7/6. And I still have to subtract 2 and 4/6 from that. So this is no longer needed. That's no longer needed. That's no longer needed. This is where we're at. So let's go ahead and subtract 2 and 4/6, okay? So 3 minus 2 is 1. 7/6 minus 4/6 is 3/6. And hopefully you can realize that 3 and 6 can both be divided by the same thing. They can both be divided by 3. So my new fraction will be 1 whole and 1/2. Because 3/6 is equivalent or equal to 1/2. So I'm going to zoom out. You can pause it if you need to look it over. I'm going to do another example. So if this example is good enough for you, you can stop the video. But I'm going to do another example that might be a little bit easier. Okay, so let me move over here then and let's try a little bit of an easier fraction. So we'll do 1 whole this time. And let's say we have 1/3. Okay, and then we're going to subtract 2/3, okay? So a little bit smaller pieces. right now we have 1 hole here, 0 holes here. So we know 1 minus 0 is 1, okay? But that's not where the problem is. The problem is the fractions. So you want to look right here, right? So once again, if I have 1/3, can I take 2/3 away from that? You only have 1. Can I take 2 away? You can't. Okay, so we're actually going to need to grab another hole. Which, lucky for us, we already have in this problem right here. We already have a hole in 1/3. So I'm going to write the hole in 1/3 here. Okay, so that's right there. Okay, and so this part might be confusing you, the number bond that I did. So I want to show you what that looks like. So 1 hole, right? We need to subtract 2/3 from this. How am I going to subtract 2/3? I mean, I could take away a third here, but where's my other third come from? Your other third is going to have to come from the 1 hole that you have. So 1 hole, how am I going to make that into thirds? 2/3, 3/3. So check this out. 1 hole equals 1, 2, 3/3. Okay, so I'm going to draw kind of a line right here and about right here. Okay, so I'm gonna take away this 1 hole now because I'm gonna make it into thirds now. Okay, so here we go. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. And that's the same thing as 1 hole. Hopefully I made it the same size. Let's see. About there. Okay, so my 1 hole is no longer just 1. It's going to be 3/3. Okay, so now it's 3/3. And I still have this 1/3 left over. So now I have 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3. Okay, so my 1 and 1/3 can also be written as 4/3. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3. Okay, and I'll show you that number bond form. So here's my 1 hole, right? What I did with that 1 hole is I pulled out the fraction form of it. So I pulled out 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, because those all together equal 1 hole. Okay, so now I've got 3/3 here and 1/3, which means I have 4/3. Okay, so I've got my 4/3, and now what's left is subtracting 2/3. 4 minus 2 equals 2, and our denominator stays the same. And the way this would look like with our bar models over here is I've got my 4/3, right? I'm going to take away 2/3. Okay, here's 1/3, 2/3. How many are left? 2/3. Okay, so this is the breakdown of it. So I would say the most challenging part is going to be realizing that or how much a whole is. So the whole depends on your denominator. If your denominator is 3, then your whole is 3/3. Let's say your denominator, let's say you have 2 and 1/4, okay? Each of these wholes, you're going to have 4/4, that's 1 whole. And you're going to have another 4/4 because that's 2 wholes. Okay? I'm going to move over here. Let's say I've got, what's the number I haven't done yet? 5ths, okay? So let's say I have 2/5. How much are your 3 wholes going to be? You're going to pull out 5/5, right? How much is this whole going to be? 5/5. How much is the other whole going to be? 5/5. So you have 5/5, 5/5, 5/5. That's 1 hole, 1 hole, 1 hole. That's 3 holes. Okay? So it doesn't matter, you know, you could have a denominator of 10, and the 1 hole is going to be 10/10. Okay? Doesn't matter really what numerator is up here unless you're subtracting or adding, you know. Then you have to possibly convert and everything. But really the most important part is to just remember that your denominator determines how many parts are in one of the holes. So if you have to take away a hole, it's really important that you know how much that hole is worth. Okay, so I hope this helped. If it didn't, please let me know and ask me questions. I'm going to zoom out at this poster if you need it though. Okay, let me know if you need help. Email me, message me, whatever you need to. Have a great rest of your day.